our community's drug problems. Al, we talked a little bit about this last night and brought us up to the point where really we're anxious to know, I think, more about what
Absolutely, and I'm delighted to tell you the rest of the story tonight. You know, Don, Iboga promises to be a major scientific breakthrough in the treatment of drug and alcohol addiction. It's been tested on addicts outside the country, and now, for the first time, the Food and Drug Administration has authorized testing of Iboga in the U.S. Here's the fascinating story of how this came about, even though our government has kept Iboga a secret for over 40 years. When Channel 13 sent me along with our Rochester delegation to visit our African sister city 18 years ago, little did I realize then how close Bamako, Mali was to the location of one of the world's most significant discoveries in fighting drug addiction. About a 4-hour plane ride south of Mali is the tiny nation of Gabon in central West Africa. In the rainforest of Gabon grows a shrub called Tabernathi Iboga. For thousands of years, the Gabonese chewed the roots of the Iboga plant during the rite of passage of young boys into manhood. In the early part of this century, French scientists first purified the extract from the Iboga root and called it Ibogaine. Over the years, scientists in Europe and the United States conducted Ibogaine experiments on animals to better understand how it works. And according to these government records, in the 1950s, the CIA funded secret experiments of using Ibogaine on humans at the Federal Narcotics Hospital in Lexington, Kentucky. And we discovered this letter written by Dr. Harris Isbell, director of the CIA-funded project. He said his tests were performed on unsuspecting black former morphine addicts. None of the patients knew what the drug was and were given no hints. To this day, it isn't clear why the CIA was testing Iboga. But the fact is, the results of Dr. Isbell's experiments have vanished into the secret archives of the CIA or the Department of Defense, never to be seen again. And perhaps Ibogaine never would have become possible for treatment of drug addiction today if it wasn't for this man, 52-year-old Howard Lotsoff of Staten Island. Lotsoff was 19 when he tried Ibogaine to get a psychedelic high, but after his Ibogaine trip, he mysteriously lost his craving for heroin. Lotsoff says he believed he had found a cure for drug addiction, but he says nobody in the government would listen to him then. Lotsoff has since patented his own Ibogaine treatment procedures. He began running experiments in Holland.
They put heroin right in my face and asked me to use some for free. And I had no desire whatsoever to use it, and I turned it down. That was the first time I'd ever turned down heroin.
Well, Don, of course, the reason Lotsoff did his test in Holland is because Ibogaine was banned in the U.S. around the early 70s.